Hey there, speculators. It's Rod. Welcome back to the channel. Futures on Fire, part of the Traders Dev Group. We make software and strategies for the active trader. In today's video, I am going to cover Nadex binary options. Now, until recently, or recent past, I had not the most flattering things to say about binary options, being sort of an options purist. But stick around, I'm going to tell you all about my renewed interest in Nadex. I've done a couple videos on this, but now I'm actually trading it pretty actively. So stick around, we'll talk about Nadex, we'll talk about why I'm covering a binary options exchange or product on a futures channel, and we'll get started right after this. Okay, cool. So what we're taking a look at here is Nadex. It's nadex.com. It actually stands for the North American Derivatives Exchange. Pretty clever there. You got the little acronym that you got going on here. And when I log into Nadex, this is their brand new look. So what they've been rolling this out in beta for a while, but I think they've finally switched over. And now that they finally switched over, I decided I was going to do a new video because I like this new layout a lot better. I had a lot of troubles with the other one just visually. I've been using this for the last couple months while I've been testing some strategies in here. So if you are not familiar at all with Nadex, you can go to nadex.com and find out a little bit more about it. If you've never heard of a binary option or you don't know much about options, this probably won't be the video for you because I'm going to make some assumptions, you know that word, that you have a little bit of a foundation about options, certainly at least understanding that a call means up or bullish, a put means looking for the market to decline or go down. That's about all you need to know, because what binary options are is they're meant to be very simple relative to standard options, in the sense that you're just making a bet one way or another. Will a price close above or below a certain level by a certain time? Now, here's why I'm going to cover Nadex and talk about it tonight, specifically on the Futures on Fire channel, because if we come over here to our handy dandy TradingView, the market's open on a Sunday evening here. You can see that S&P, Nasdaq, Dow Jones, Russell, well, the Russell not so much, but they're all just a little bit higher. The Nadex platform actually has their version of these exact instruments, and it's the exact same price. So Nadex options settle based on futures prices. So if you're already a futures trader, it's perfect, right? In Futures on Fire and the TDG Pro Trade Room, I often talk about how to express trade signals that we have in the futures markets, such as the S&P and the Nasdaq, using popular ETFs like SPYs or Qs. And there is a certain amount of contracts that you can purchase to reflect almost the exact same movement that you would get from an underlying futures contract. But that certainly involves a little bit more work. Here over on Nadex, it is the exact futures price that you are placing your bet, your wager, your speculative activity based on. They just have to rename these because they don't have the rights from the CME to actually call it the S&P 500 or the ES or the Nasdaq or the NQ. So here's the corresponding, this US 500 right here, this US 500 is the S&P, this is the ES, okay? The Tech 100 right here is the NQ, the US small cap is the Russell, and the Wall Street 30 is the Dow Jones, okay? So again, Wall Street 30 is the Dow Jones, or the YM in the futures market. US Small Cap 2000 is the Russell, or RTY in the futures market. The US 500 is the S&P, or the ES in the futures market. And the US Tech 100 is the Nasdaq in the futures market, or the NQ. So let's just go ahead and click on this right here, the US 500, and I'm just going to bring up a we want to get somewhat close to price right now, which is, I don't know, at 30. Let's just go right here, okay? And here's the thing. Now, I'm not exactly sure how, this is nothing wrong with this, how they're quote-unquote getting away with this, if you will. Now, I have a live funded account, but I've been able to check with a lot of our students and clients that have started to sign up for a demo. By the way, if you're interested in learning more about Nadex trading, binary options trading, you can check the link below. There should be a link where you can sign up for a free demo. It is an affiliate link, and if I get enough people kind of interested in this and eventually funding accounts, what I'm going to do is just give that back as a discount to any other TDG products or services if you get interested. But no harm in using the link that you see below if you want to sign up for a demo account. I believe that Nadex is available in a variety of different countries, but certainly available in the United States because it's the North American. Now let me pause for just a moment. I mentioned in the lead-in one of the reasons that I had in the past not been a huge fan of binary options, and mostly it's because they were run by or dominated by unregulated offshore brokers, and they were really just sort of the equivalent of the casinos. They started off with like 30 and 1 minute options, bet where the euro is going to be 1 minute from now. That's kind of fun, but they were also unregulated. They were credit card funding only. There was a lot of issues. So to my knowledge, the Nadex, or the North American Derivatives Exchange, is the only fully regulated US-based binary options broker out there that I know of. So that gives me just a little more confidence. Now at this point, I'm still just operating with play money. I deposited $250, ran it up to about $1,000, took a withdrawal, and now you can see we're sitting on account balance about $547. But you could certainly get used to these and start trading with as little as $100 or $200, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But anyway, it's a regulated broker. You can feel a little bit more comfortable with it. I think all the other binary options players are, in Malta or offshore somewhere, or in pick your island. And I just don't feel comfortable either recommending or doing anything with those types of brokers. So you can rest assured a little bit more with Nadex in terms of who you're working with. Now, getting back to what's going on with the data here. So I pulled up the US 500, and what I notice here now is that I'm well away from price. So let's get closer to actual price there. I picked a different strike. All right, so you can see here there's a chart. This is a 10-minute chart. Let me switch it to a 30-minute chart. There we go, switch it to a 30-minute chart. I'm recording this video on a Sunday evening, so this is the gap between the Friday close, and we have 4 bars of data here on a 30-minute on the Sunday reopen. Okay, so Nadex follows the futures markets, which is great. So they're going to be open essentially 23 hours a day to make these plays. I'll talk about just a moment the expiration cycles and things like that. But when the futures markets reopen here on a Sunday evening, you have the opportunity to come in and make wagers and trade the Nadex as well. All right, so this is showing a price of 32, let's call it 32.18s, and if we come over here to real lifetime data, data on the futures markets here, we have the same price, 32.18. Okay, so I'm not saying that you should sign up for a free demo account just so you can get access to real-time futures data if you'd like. You can't pump this into any other platform, but this is real-time futures data. It's just called the US 500, not the ES. So that's a little, and you can chart this on any time frame. You want to go to 5 minutes, there's 5 minutes. So anyway, valuable right there, I think. And again, I don't know how long you can stay on demo, but I have had real-time futures data being pumped into my Nadex ever since I funded this account, and this was a while ago. So kind of cool. Get you access to the data if you know the different derivatives that they are associated with. In this case, it's the US 500. All right. Now, what you're going to want to do if you're new to the channel is please, if you're enjoying this kind of content, hit the like, subscribe, and the little bell to be notified when I broadcast again. Smash that like button, as they say, because I'm going to continue a series of videos. I'm doing some on TradingView. I'm going to be doing more on Nadex. It's more than I can get into in a single video. First, I just want to give the foundation of Nadex, how it kind of works, and then follow a series of videos where I'll show you some actual trading strategies that you can use using the same setups, signals, and approaches that we're taking in the futures markets to express, I use that term express, that trade using these Nadex binary options. Okay, so what I did was I clicked over here on the US 500 and I got to a strike, if you will, that's somewhat close to current price. It's 32.14 right here. Okay, now if you're familiar with options, you would understand that there's the concept of, again, calls, meaning you're expecting prices to rise. So you're speculating on an increase in price, which would increase the value of your calls. The opposite of that is puts, if you're looking for the market to decline. And by the way, a little quick fun fact, if you're not aware of where those terms came from, they have to do with the seller's obligation. So If you're the seller of an option and it goes into the money, it can be called away from you, or it's called away. And the opposite is true as well. If you are short puts and they go in the money, the stock can be actually put to you. Okay, so called away and put to you. By the way, if you don't know the bull and bear, why do they call it bullish and bearish? Well, bulls put their horns down and throw the matador up in the air, and bears will rise up and then come down with you on their claws. So little fun facts in terms of the origin of the terms puts and calls, as well as bull and bear markets. All right, I digress. But in binary options, there is no such thing as a call or a put, okay? There is what they would just say yes or no, okay? Yes or no. So this contract that we're looking at right now, it says, will the US 500 September, this is the September contract for the S&P, finish higher than 3214 at 4:15 p.m. This is in 20 hours and 40 minutes. You can see that right there. In 20 hours and 40 minutes from now, essentially almost an entire day, this is going to be tomorrow, Monday's close at 4:15. All right. Will the S&P be higher than 3214s? Well, it's higher than 3214s right now by about 4 points. Okay. The current daily range of the S&P 500 is about 65 to 70 right now, and that is pretty unusual. But we've been in the new normal is unusual for the last 4 or 5 months or so. So we're working with very large daily ranges. So it would be well within expectations that the S&P could close by tomorrow, Monday, 60 points higher than here at 3274 or higher, or 60 points lower, or anywhere in between, or even put in more than one standard deviation move. All right. So if we're this close, what this is saying here is if I go to buy this, okay, if I buy this, I am saying I believe that the market will close above 3214 by tomorrow. If I go to sell it, I'm going to say, no, I think the market will close below 3214. All right. So just start there. I'll tell you what the prices mean in just a second. So buying means I think it's going to be above or greater than. Let me grab the pen. We'll do this real quick. I think I have a pen. Yeah. All right. So we got a greater than. Ooh, whoa. We got a greater than, right? So it's going to be greater than 3214. All right. Greater than 3214, and they're showing you the strike line right here. Okay, this is called the strike. Again, if you don't know anything about options, then hit the like and subscribe button, because heck, I'm going to be rolling out some options courses and things too. So the strike here is 3214, and if you're a buyer of this right here, then you are wagering that the market will be higher than 3214 at the close tomorrow. All right. Okay, let me clear those out of the way and now tell you the most important magical thing, the only thing you really have to understand about binary options in terms of their significant difference from what I would say regular options, is that the magic number in binary options is 100, okay? By the way, Nadex offers things called call spreads and knockouts as well. Again, another reason to smash that like button, hit the subscribe, turn on notifications so that I can get to these other things too here, which are very cool, the call spreads and the knockouts. But today we're just talking about the binary options. All right, so the most important thing to understand about binary options is it has to do with 100. Now there's some similarities to this in terms of a regular options contract will represent 100 shares of the underlying. In this, it has nothing to do with shares or anything like that. It's simply just $100. Okay, so if everything is in $100, if I am a buyer at 60 bucks, okay, I buy this option for 60 bucks. Again, I'm wagering that the S&P 500 futures contract, which I'm already watching and trading all day long because I'm a futures trader. Even if you're not a futures trader, it's very easy to understand and look at these the prices of those futures markets. You don't even have to have futures data from Tradovate or TradeStation or NinjaTrader or AMP or anything else, which I talk about on this channel forever. You can just sign up for a demo, and this is the actual price right here of the S&P ES futures, which I just mentioned. That in itself is pretty cool. All right, so 60 bucks right here. Man, we're at 14 minutes. I'm going to speed this up and we'll get to the next video. You're not supposed to really have YouTube videos that go much longer. If you're still here with me, awesome. I appreciate it. All right. So we'll finish with just this piece here, and then we'll move on to another lesson. All right, so 100, if I pay $60, that is the most I can lose. I can lose $60, the entire premium. The most I can make is the difference between 100 and 60, or $40. That's the most I can make, okay? Now here's what's pretty cool if you're familiar with some other binary options or those offshore brokers and things that I mentioned. Those in the past, sometimes they were just a one-time bet. You'd make your bet, and the outcome was either if it closes above or below and you make the full amount, or you lose the full amount. This is going to trade the entire time. It's an open market and will trade all the way until the expiration. So I'll get into that in the next video. We'll be able to watch this, okay? Now, if the market were to go up, what do you think is going to happen to the bid and ask? Of course, it's going to go up. If the market were to go down, what do you think is going to happen to the bid and ask? Of course, the market's going to go down. Okay, so pretty simple to understand how the buy works. You buy on the offer. You say, yes, I think this is going to occur. I'm going to wager $60, and if I'm correct, if it closes one tick above 32.14 at 4:15 Eastern tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, then I'm going to make $40. Okay, cool. The opposite here, if I sell, let me clean this up, and I'll come back over here. Let me see if in real time I can make this red. That'd be kind of cool. I think I can, because now we're talking about selling. There we go. So now I'm going to be a seller. Let's just round that to 56. Okay. So now I sell for 56. Okay. This is the equivalent of a put. So this is a little weirder. This is what it takes a little time to get used to. Okay. If I believe that the market is going to close below 32.14, I'm going to sell this. Okay. Now the most I can make when I sell it is 56. And what's the most I can lose? 44. The difference between 56 and 100. Okay. So this has a little bit better risk reward than buying here at this particular price. All right. But again, we're going to come up with some strategies that hopefully put some of the probabilities in our favor a little bit more, and I'll go into that in a lot more detail. So you can be a seller if you think the market is actually going to decline. You're saying, no, it will not be over 32.14. So yes, I'm going to ask for $56, and if it closes above 32.14, the value of that contract will be 100, and essentially I would be either buying it back at 100, or it'll just close and I lose my $44. All right, so again, video's getting a little long here, so I'll finish it up right here. Again, Nadex, North American Derivatives Exchange, US regulated. You're going to get some real-time futures data if you understand how it correlates to what these funny little names they have here, the US 500, the Wall Street 30, etc. You have the opportunity to wager at all sorts of different strike prices for all different times. We didn't get into all that, and today we just talked about the binary options. So if you are an active futures trader or interested in futures or watching the futures markets, I would suggest you take a look at adding these binary options to your repertoire, because as you'll see in a series of videos I will do, there are some very interesting opportunities to set up. Very often I will be wagering something where these are low probability events, but I will sell or buy options for very, very tiny amounts of money. Something like where my max gain is $80 to $90, my max risk is $10 to $20. You do that enough times and you catch the right reversal days, it's a tremendous way to do well. So in other words, you're not going to see me playing around very often at the near the money options. I'm going to typically be making bets looking for mean reversion back down to some significant levels, which we'll talk more about, the POC, point of control, etc. So stay tuned for some binary option strategies based on the future strategies that we already trade at TDG. Again, you can check the description below if you want a link to how you can get a demo account of Nadex if you're interested in this. Appreciate you spending your time and the entire 18 minutes at the end of the video if you got here. My name is Rod with TDG, the Traders Dev Group. We make software and strategies for the active trader. Stay green and trade like you mean it.